here. Now I'm here. Now I'm there. Now I'm there.
Gary Numan, welcome to Tracks of My Years.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you here. Your first choice there, from Queen, Now I'm Here, from their third album, and written by Brian in Hospital. Yeah, there you go. I taught something to Gary Numan. What is it you love about this particular Queen track?
I just loved Queen in general, actually. I could have picked any number of tracks on them. I went to see them when I was still really, really young. I think they were supporting Mott the Hoople at Hammersmith Odeon.
Wow.
Just before Seven Seas of Rye came out. So I was quite new to gigging at the time, and I just thought it was brilliant. I thought Freddie Mercury was just amazing as a frontman. And then after that, I went to see him again at the Rainbow, in Finsbury Park, when it was a theatre. And then they invited everybody in. All the people that were hanging outside the dressing room, they invited everybody in to their dressing room. They signed everything for everyone, did photographs and so on. And I thought, isn't that an amazing thing to do? Because I've kind of been brought up with being very much the them and us situation, being rock stars and their fans. You never got to meet them and so on. And here they were inviting people in. And it was a massive lesson to me in how to treat people. Now, should I ever become famous in the future? I always remembered it. What a lovely way to look after people. Anyway, so that was that. And then much later on, I was in Tokyo once, actually. I'd gone over there to do a gig with Japan, the band Japan.
Yeah.
Who had obviously gone off the idea by the time I got there and not told me. So I found myself on my own, wandering around Tokyo. And I noticed Queen were playing, so I just bought a ticket and went to see them and was sitting out in the crowd. Lots of people started to know who I was, and I got rescued and taken backstage and met up with them there. And they looked after me like a little long-lost puppy.
Gary Numan was their pet.
Yeah. And it was so cute. It was really lovely. It took me out with them, and they went to some sushi place. They would sit on the floor.
Yeah.
And I said to Freddie, thanks for having me here and all that, but I don't like any of this stuff. So he got his limo driver to go up to McDonald's and brought it back to this fish restaurant place in the middle of Tokyo.
And they didn't mind you eating it?
No, he was just lovely, brilliant.
He does sound
proper rock star.
like an amazing.
Well, they all were. They're all really lovely people.
Next, you've chosen Johnny Cash and Hurt, of course, his cover of the 9 Inch Nails track, and one of his last hits before he died. Why have you chosen this one?
Well, I'm a massive 9 Inch Nails fan. One of my proudest moments, actually, is that they did a cover of one of my songs a while ago, and that is probably the pinnacle of my career, as far as I'm concerned. Because I love them to bits. There have been a lot of covers of 9 Inch Nails songs, none of which I think come close to the originals at all, because I am a bit of an Anaraki fan.
Yeah.
But the Johnny Cash one, it's a phenomenal bit of music, not just because it's a great song and it's a great version, but with all the emotion around it because of his life and what was happening to him, and then the video for it. I've watched tens of thousands of promo videos over the time. I know good ones and rubbish ones and so on, but it's very, very rare that one actually sort of brings a tear to your eye and slows you down, and the Johnny Cash Hurt video did that to me. Really emotional thing, brilliant performance.
I hurt myself today to see if I still feel. I focus on the pain, the only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole.
Small Jean Genie snuck off to the city, strung out on lasers and slashback blazers, and ate all your razors while pulling the waiters, talking about Monroe and walking on Snow White. New York's a go-go and everything tastes nice. Poor little greenie.
Gary Numan choosing Tracks of My Years this week. Your first choice today from David Bowie and Jean Genie. He must have been a huge influence on you as a young musician.
Yeah, well, actually, I got into him quite late because I was a big T-Rex fan, and there appeared to be, in the newspapers at least, friction between Mark Bolan and David Bowie. So I didn't like David Bowie just out of loyalty to Mark Bolan. And it went on for a year or two, so I missed the whole Ziggy Stardust thing. So by the time I'd got into Bowie, he'd retired the Ziggy Stardust thing, so I kind of missed all of that. But yeah, I got into him eventually, and then I bought everything, and I did go to see him when he came back, and he did a show at Wembley, and eventually got to the front. I had one of those little green fluorescent tubes, which I threw at Bowie, hit him, and he picked it up and danced to Jean Genie with it. Just the best moment ever.
I love that story. Next, you've chosen Depeche Mode. Now, you must have been a huge influence on Depeche Mode.
I've read some nice things, but I think what they've done just set a standard way beyond anything I ever did. I love them to bits. I think the Songs of Faith and Devotion album is a mega high point for me. When Alan Wilder was still in, I'm a big Alan Wilder fan, and when he was still in the band, the level of production and the sense of sort of brooding menace that was in the music at that point kind of went away a little bit when he left. And it was also important for me, around about 92, my career was all but dead and buried, really. I couldn't give away tickets, I couldn't give away albums, I had no record deal, and no obvious sign of ever getting one again. And I honestly thought I was finished, thanks to my wife, Gemma, who got me back into Depeche Mode again. And it changed dramatically, the sort of music that I was writing. Not copy what they're doing, but try to make it sound as accomplished. It was massively important to me. I think if Gemma hadn't got me into them at that time, then my music could have gone another way entirely. It saved me, saved my career completely.
Thank you, Depeche Mode, bringing Gary Numan back to us.
You did.
And the track you've chosen, Never Let Me Down Again.
It's just brilliant. It's a brilliant song.
Love was only true in fairy tales, and for someone else, but not for me. Our love was out to get me, that's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. Then I saw her face, now I'm a believer.
Gary, the first track you've chosen today, The Monkees, I'm a Believer. I was quite an unusual choice from you, I thought.
Yeah.
Why do you love this record?
Well, when I was little, in our street, we had a band called the Monkey Juniors. Not really a band, we used to mime to Monkeys records in people's houses for money.
Fantastic.
For sweet
Did you
money.
make a killing?
Not really.
Not quite.
We were rubbish. Well, there was 4 of us, and we were all one of the Monkeys. I was Mike Nesmith. And my
Always my
mum
favourite.
made me a green bobble hat without a bobble, because he didn't have a bobble.
He was too cool for a bubble.
Too cool for a bobble. So I've had a soft spot for him ever since. Oh, there's another thing, actually. We're moving to America, and the actual place we're going to is in this little gated community just north of Los Angeles, and Mickey Dolenz lives there, the drummer. How cool is that?
you'll be able to hang
And
out.
Mickey Dolenz has got the same birthday as me.
That's quite freaky as well.
It is, isn't it? It's all coming round.
It is all coming round. Wow, bless
That made,
you.
when I was 8, that made me a hero in my street.
Yeah, I can
Over the same
imagine.
birthday.
I can imagine. Next, you chose a Massive Attack, Teardrop.
It's a great song, and that's kind of the main reason for it being there, because I don't have too much of a story. The only time I've actually had much to do with Massive Attack, we did something many, many years ago, me and my wife. We went out, there's a group of us kind of just ended up together. He was one of them.
3D.
There was Boy
yeah.
George, Keris, I think, from Catatonia, and Brian from Placebo.
What an amazing group of people.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's the only time I've ever met anyone from Massive Attack, and that's my only connection to this song, other than that I love it.
Love, love is a verb. Love is a doing word. Fearless on my brain. Gentle impulsion shakes me, makes me lighter. Fearless on my brain. Teardrop on fire.
Your first choice today, T-Rex, Telegram Sam. You did share with us how you loved T-Rex over David Bowie, if you had to make a choice.
Well, Ride a White Swan, when that came out, up until then I'd been listening to the Monkees, you know, and then all of a sudden something like that came along, and it was just such a different sounding record to anything I'd heard before. And then I started to see Mark Bolan interviews and the way he talked about fame, and it just seemed like such an amazing thing. He made fame just seem like the best thing in the world, you know, and made me really, really, really want to do it. And I loved everything that he did. I loved his attitude. I liked his talking voice as much as his singing voice. I liked listening to him do interviews. I went to see that Born to Boogie film about 20 times. Unfortunately, he'd already died before I became successful, so I never got a chance to meet him. Of all the people you wish you could have met, you know, he would be top of my list.
Brilliant. Another band using synths around the same time as you, Ultravox. You've chosen a track by them now, Slow Motion.
Yeah, well, I discovered this in the synthesizer by accident. I've been put into a studio to make my first album, which should have been a punk album, because I've been signed as a 3-piece punk band. Get to the studio, and in the control room is a Mini Moog, really early monophonic synthesizer. Never seen one before. And I had no real interest in electronic music, to be honest. And Kraftwerk had been okay. So not much of a fan, not expecting too much. But I said, could I have a go while it's here? Because it was being taken away somewhere. So pressed it. And luckily for me, it had been left on a sound which was just huge. Big, fat, massive bass sound. Pressed the key down and the room shook. And I just thought, that is the most powerful thing I've ever heard. Loved it to bits. So I went back to the record company with a very hastily adapted electro punk album. You know, where the guitar's gone chunk, 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 it now went with one little finger. Really, really amateurish stuff. But went back to Beggar's Banquet with that, saying that this new electronic thing, it's going to be massive. Get it out now. I'm the only one doing it. We'd be right at the beginning. Be fantastic, you know. Went out to the record shop, started looking through the racks. Only to find out there was loads of people already doing it. Ultravox were on their 3rd album.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so far from being cutting edge, I was one of the last people to drift into it, as it turned. But nobody had any success, you see. With my electronic thing, I never wanted to replace instruments. You know, I love guitar, bass and drums. I just wanted to add another level to that.
Yeah, another dimension.
Yeah, and when I found Ultravox, that's what they were doing. They had violins and all kinds of stuff, you know. And it was really interesting. So of all the people that were doing electronic music, the only people that were doing it the way that I wanted to do it was Ultravox. So they became my sort of guiding light, as it were. The Slow Motion is still one of my favourite songs of all time.
Your first choice today, Gary, The Mission, Tower of Strength. Where did you first hear The Mission?
I heard them a long, long way back, but didn't really think that much of it one way or the other. It was kind of different sort of music that I was into at the time. But I always thought Tower of Strength was a great song. It stood out for me from a lot of the other stuff from that time. And subsequently, actually, I've got to know Wayne Hussey really well. And I've said to him many, many times, there are plenty of songs that you like, love, but there's only a few songs that you're genuinely sad that you didn't write yourself. 9 Inch Nails have got one called Closer, and Tower of Strength is another one. Every time I hear it, I just wish I'd written it for some reason. Oh, it was perfect. The production of it, the way it builds, beautiful melodies, genius, I think, genius song.
Fantastic. So you are going out on the road, the Machine Music Tour around the UK. What can you tell us? What are you going to be playing? What can people expect?
I don't do much nostalgia. I'm not a big fan of greatest hits type things. And one of the problems I have with the fans now is that when I tour, I play very, very little old stuff. And so obviously for people that have been there for a long time, that they get a bit upset with that.
The Numanoids. Are they still called the Numanoids?
Some of
All
them.
your fans? Some
the
of them
the
are.
older ones.
Yeah.
Some of them.
They're true Numanoids. Excellent. And then we've got new Numanoids,
New
which isn't
Numanoids,
easy to say.
I do get a bit of grief about it. You know, if we're going to do 20 songs, maybe 3 or 4 will be older stuff, and the rest of it is, you know, new or quite often what's coming, you know, things that we've not released yet. Because that's kind of where you are. That's what you're excited about and what you're passionate about at the moment. So the reason I'm doing this particular thing is every once in a while I do something which brings a back catalogue into it. Most of the songs we've done on the Machine Music Tour I don't think I've done for 20 years. So it's actually going to be quite a laugh, I think, going back and doing like this old stuff.
There's a DVD out as well.
Yeah, well, there's a Machine Music DVD. That's the one I'm going to be touring. There's another one called Big Noise Transmission. That's from the last shows that we did from the last album. So there's a few bits and pieces.
Excellent. Gary Numan fans will be very, very happy indeed. And quite nicely wrapping your Tracks of My Years up with the Sugar Babes and Freak Like Me, which of course samples you.
Yeah, I feel a bit cheeky putting this one in, actually. For me, it was a really lovely moment. I got rung up and they asked me if I minded, because it was a bootleg before that. And
Yeah.
Universal WA, someone rung up and said they wanted to like legitimise it and put Sugar Babes on it. Did I object to that? So I said, no, it'd be very cool. And then it went to #1. And I was very, very proud of the fact that I saw lots of reviews that said the music sounded as if it could have been written the day before. And it was 25 years old then. I got a few people kind of expecting me to slag it off because it was the Sugar Babes. And that's a horrible attitude. I loved it. I thought they sang it really well. I thought it made me look good. I thought it was great. For me, it was a really lovely experience, actually. I really enjoyed it.
Gary Numan, thank you so much for sharing Tracks of My Years. Brilliant.
Pleasure. Thank you.
That's just one thing that a man must do. I'm packing all the flavors you need. I got your shit